A woman finds out her boyfriend is married. AITAH August 19, 22. Originally posted by Sprinkle Glitter 7 in our AITAH on May 10, 22. Updated August 19, 22. Trigger warning. Abortion. Pregnancy loss. Less than. Original post. AITAH for confronting my BF with his wife in public? So I know how the title sounds, but hear me out. I, 26F, started dating my now BF, 35M. We have been dating for 7 months. A month ago he told me he had to talk to me about something important. I honestly thought maybe he just wanted to break up with me, but what he said was so much worse. My BF sat me down and said that there was a problem, the problem being he's falling in love with me. When he said that, I got so confused I didn't understand what the problem was. I asked him why that was a problem, and that's when he told me that he's actually married and has been divorced, and lied about his age. He's actually 42. I sat there shocked and I didn't know what to say. When I finally came out of shock, I got up, grabbed my stuff, and told him to never call or text me again. He tried saying what most cheaters do, that I was different. His wife and him hadn't been happy in a really long time and was considering getting a divorce. I still grabbed my stuff and left. I didn't think twice about it. The problem came about 2 weeks ago. My period was 2 months late. I wasn't worried because I am extremely irregular, but after being late for a second month I decided to take a EPT. It was positive. I thought maybe it was a false positive and took 6 more tests and they were all positive. I was so upset I cried out of shock and anger because of the situation as a whole. I called my now ex-BF. He didn't respond. I texted him telling him I needed to talk to him, and radio silence. After days of calling and texting, he finally answered the phone and said if I was pregnant, he didn't think it was his, and stopped texting and calling and hung up. I was livid. How dare he? I wasn't the one lying and cheating. Now being pregnant, I would have to explain to my family the real reason I broke up with him and tell them I'm pregnant. Fast forward to Mother's Day weekend. My family and I went out to dinner Saturday night to celebrate. I'm about 12 weeks along in my pregnancy and have to pee all the time. As I was walking to the bathroom, I saw my lying ex, and he was there with his family or friends and, based on body language, his wife. I was so hurt and angry about everything. I didn't think before acting. I went to their table. I introduced myself. I told everyone at the table what happened from start to finish. Showed them pictures of us together and texts. As a final note, I announced my pregnancy. Before leaving the table, I grabbed his drink and threw it at him. I then looked over at his wife. She was bawling. I felt so bad, but I was so hurt and angry. Did I take it too far, AITA? Should I have done things differently? Edit. He doesn't have children. His wife and him were having dinner with all adults at their table. My family was celebrating Mother's Day. I'm considering terminating the pregnancy but have not decided one way or the other. My ex reached out offering to pay for an abortion because he doesn't want a child and never has. First update added as an edit, so I'm unsure of the date. Update. His wife reached out to me and wanted to meet up. I met up with her. I felt like it was the least I could do after everything that happened. She thanked me for everything I did and said she let me know she filed for divorce. She had enough of the lies and cheating. I was one of many over the time of their marriage. She told me I was the first woman to actually present pictures, texts, a pregnancy test, and ultrasound, and felt I was being genuine about what happened. I apologized, saying I never wanted to embarrass her. I was just so angry I saw red. I told her if I had known he was married I would have never dated him. She told me to not worry and believed me, especially with what I did when I saw him. She apologized to me for everything he did. This woman is a freaking saint. She deserves better. We cried about everything we've been through, and comforted each other through this mess he created. I felt so much better having a heart-to-heart with her and wish her the best. It was no surprise that he came looking for me, begging me to forgive him. I told him to get lost, and I never wanted to see him again, especially after saying the baby was not his. I wasn't surprised he tried coming back, especially after his wife filed for divorce. When it comes to my baby, there is also an update. After a lot of thinking, I had decided to keep my baby. Unfortunately, I was having issues with some bleeding due to the fetus not being fully attached properly to my uterine wall. While being on bed rest this past week, the bleeding got worse and I lost my baby. After having the miscarriage, it's been a very difficult time. I know everything happens for a reason, but it really hurts. I have a lot of guilt surrounding the miscarriage because I wanted an abortion, so I partially blame myself. So now I am just taking some time to heal and grieve my baby. Thank you for all of the advice and comments. I reached out to check on Oop, and she gave me this final update on August 19th along with permission to share. Things are good now after a long healing process. I started fresh. My miscarriage took a very hard toll on my body, and there were lots of complications post-miscarriage. After finally healing properly physically and getting cleared with my doctor post-miscarriage, I decided to do something for myself. My job is completely remote, so I have been traveling a lot, living in different places for a few months before exploring something new. My primary focus now is healing spiritually and mentally after such a difficult time. Even though losing my baby was awful, I have a fresh start where I can be completely free of everything that happened. His ex-wife, because she did get a divorce, and I keep in touch. We have been a great support system to one another during a very challenging time. But I'm thriving and persevering. Finally, a wife who doesn't immediately blame the mistress but instead recognizes that her husband is to blame, especially when he lied to both of them. I've read too many stories of wives saying, she trapped him, or, she came onto him, and then trying to work it out with the cheater. It's so refreshing to see a wife say, I'm leaving, and recognize that he did this. I know that there are a lot of situations where the mistress knows he's married and shares the blame. I'm just speaking to the situations where they're both duped. Honestly, so glad the wife didn't blame the Oop. I hope they remain friends and thrive to rub it in the ex's face. I said this earlier, but I'll say it as a separate comment now. X won't get to slice and dice the information about why his marriage ended, since Oop disclosed with so many witnesses. I feel for the wife, because that's her private pain being displayed so publicly. I hope Oop and the ex-wife continue to thrive and live very well. God, I love it when women show solidarity with each other. Good for Op. Good for the wife. I love that they've found friendship together. Poor Oop. And the wife. I hope she's found a way to stop blaming herself. She's not to blame for her miscarriage, no matter what she might have thought when she first found out. Glad the women in this story helped each other and both dumped the cheating ass. Hope they're both in a better place now. He's actually 42 instant screaming. God bless. The worst part of this for me is Oop now blames herself for her terrible pregnancy outcome. She did the best anyone could do in this situation. Way better than I could have. That's for sure. God, I love people who snitch on cheaters. My soul sisters and brothers. First, I wish the best for Oop after the loss of the baby. Second, I'm also glad it worked out between the wife and Oop. And she didn't try to blame Oop anything her ex-husband did. Speaking of which, I hope he got his SS chewed out and handed to him by the judge and everybody. They know. Like, how dare you do this shish hash tea to your wife and Oop? and then have the audacity to come crawling back to Oop after the divorce. Like, no sir, you are a lying, cheating scumbag that even a bedbug wouldn't want. I wish people wouldn't torture themselves with this "everything happens for a reason" nonsense. The world is full of random good and random bad, and there's no sense at all behind most of it. Christ. I know people feel strongly about babies, but the fact of the matter is, if it had been born, she would be saddled to its malicious father for the rest of their lives. Escaping harmful people is one of the things abortion is for, in my view. I'm sorry she lost a wanted pregnancy, but that's a major silver lining. It took a lot of mental and moral strength to do what Op did. I can only imagine how angry she must have been to see him at the restaurant. I'm glad she's taking care of herself. Glad to hear both OPP and the ex-wife are doing well. Shame about the loss of the baby, but both women are now free from this loser. Maybe it's just that I have never wanted children, but I cannot imagine wanting to keep the pregnancy in this situation. I can't imagine wanting a baby so badly that I would tie myself to a lying, cheating scumbag like that man. Glad the Oop is doing better. The wife was probably relieved she had proof of his cheating and hopes she takes him to the cleaners in the divorce. I wish I could give her the biggest hug ever. Times like these I wish there was a law against cheaters and they get actual jail time. Not going into details. I just wish there was a way for them to pay justice and all. Well, we know that will never happen, especially with the current USSC. They don't actually care about the fetus. But definitely not the mother. My job is completely remote, so I have been traveling a lot, living in different places for a few months before exploring something new. Oop out there living my dream. Where do I get a job like hers? Oh, and yeah, dude sucks. Glad wife was nice. Miscarriage terrible. Hope better future for Oop. Blah blah blah. I actually love many aspects of this story, from the way the wife and Oop have been there for each other and the healing and fresh start Oop has taken to living. It's hopeful, I think. There feels like at least as much good as bad in this one. I hope the ex-wife is doing as well now too. I'm sorry she went through the pain of a miscarriage, but glad she confronted him that way.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.